Hey guys, we're back here and I'm going to be working on the trigger in this video. What I'm going to show you guys is one way of, I'm going to be replacing some of this spring in this all together and just redoing the job on here. Right now, the trigger pulls around like 6 pounds. Let's see. Yeah, so we're right at about 6.5. You can see that 6.5 pounds. Still pretty heavy. I mean, the trigger on this is god awful. The stock trigger is just bad. So we're gonna try to do our best to work on that. Okay. All right. So I removed the stock, and now we're just gonna work on the trigger here. What I'm gonna do first, you gotta remove this little clip here. Just gonna push that off. Okay, once that comes off, you're just going to push this pin out. It just pushes right out. Okay, that'll allow the trigger to come right out. So what I'm going to do on this is, I'm taking this trigger out. I snipped it before. It didn't. You can snip it a bit. The spring is just still a very strong spring. So this just unscrews right out of here. Boom, like magic. Look at that. Okay. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna try out some new springs over here. This is just the spring assortment kit that I got from Home Depot. I'm using this spring out of that set. That was like $4 for that whole little box of all the little springs. So this one feeds perfectly into the threading on here. Okay, I brought it down to about 3 pounds because I couldn't get it down any lower. If you make it shorter, it doesn't re-engage with the sear after you pull the trigger. So I want to have, you know, a good trigger in there that's working. Okay. So what I'm going to do, just to keep this solid, I'm going to put one of these screws that I got, which is the size is 10/24, and I think this was a ½ inch. So I'm just going to put some blue Loctite on it and screw it in, and that should keep it in place, and it'll keep that spring in place as well. So I'm just going to put a little dab, some blue Loctite. Alright, that's just going in through the bottom. Okay. I'm just screwing that in. All the way in there. Cool. And she's ready to go. She's ready to rock and roll now. Okay. So we're just going to reinstall the trigger back here. Just put that in. This goes right back through. Cool. Nice. I'm going to put this clip back on. The other side. That's on there. Cool. Okay. So you can see, okay, I had cut the spring too short before when I was initially doing this with the original trigger and the original trigger spring, and when I cut it too short, there was just slack here. It was just completely loose, so the trigger would jiggle around. Okay, with that, you need enough spring there so it re-engages that trigger and it pushes this back up so it can catch that sear right there. Okay, boom, now it's ready to go. Cool. Okay, so we're down to about 3 pounds. We couldn't get it much lower. That's alright. It's much better than the 6.5 pounds, right, that we were working with before. So that's the trigger job on here. I may look into getting one of the Timney trigger, or the I think there's a Rifle Basics makes a drop-in trigger. Much better. You can bring it down to, I think, 1.5 pounds. So some pretty crazy stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what we can get away with this, and we'll see what kind of groups we can get with this new trigger job in here. It should be a lot better. It should be a lot better. Okay. So that's just simple improvement. And again, I just messed around and I just kept tweaking it until it was where I wanted it to be. Okay.